in the kitchen. I'm going to show you a wonderful recipe. It is my scrumptious mini baklavas. What it is a miniature version of the classic Greek dessert, a baklava. It is completely addictive, super delicious, amazingly crispy, full of flavor, all the stickiness, but with half the work, less than half the work. This is what I call maximum pleasure from minimal effort. I'll show you how it's done. So here's what you're going to need. Little mini phyllo cups. You're going to need a half a cup of toasted almonds and half a cup of toasted walnuts, regular granulated sugar, a tablespoon of melted butter, some orange because we're going to need the zest, ground cinnamon, honey, pure vanilla extract, some salt, and water. And this is all you're going to need for these incredible little mini baklavas. Okay, first thing we're going to get to do, preheat your oven to 350. And the next thing we're going to do is I'm using a little mini muffin tin. If you don't have that, guess what? A regular sheet pan will do. Putting these in. I usually get about 25 to 28 of them with this filling. So I'm just going to put all 30 in here because I'm going to toast them up a little. And these are so quick. It's not like regular baklavas where you have to sit there and take each phyllo sheet and butter it and layer it and cut it. It's just a lot of work, and I just don't have that kind of patience. So here we go. Putting these in the oven. These are just going to go in the oven for about 5 minutes. That's it. And while these are in here, we're going to get going on our filling. Okay. Taking the toasted almonds and walnuts in your food processor. Wonderful. You need about 2 tablespoons of sugar. This is so great. It's so quick, I'm telling you. You're not going to believe it. The butter, the 1 tablespoon of melted butter. You don't have to worry about everything being sticky, having to cut each one. It's just a lot of work, and like I said, I don't have that kind of patience. So when I make this recipe, it was so easy. I mean, you'll see. Half a teaspoon of ground cinnamon. And you're going to need a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And the zest of about half of a small orange or 1/4 of a small orange. Now, as you notice, I'm not using pistachios, which is kind of, it's one of the most important things about making these baklavas, these traditional baklavas, but I'm not a fan of pistachios at all. And you'll see, once you try these, you'll see how easy they are. And guess what? They're still sticky, they're still sweet, they're still nutty. You'll never know that there's no pistachios in there. Wonderful. Okay, let's blitz this up. That's it. What you want is coarse crumbs, as you can see. You don't want everything to be too pulverized, otherwise you'll have nothing. This is nice and coarse. It's perfect. I'm actually going to give it one more blitz. Perfect. Beautiful. Back into our little bowl. I'm telling you, when you make these, if you've ever made traditional baklava before, and you've been trying to, pulling your hair out when you were doing it, it's kind of difficult and it takes a long time. When you make these, you're going to be forever grateful because they are delicious and super easy. Wonderful. Let me clean up a little, and then we'll get our little baklava shells out of the oven. They've been in the oven for about 5 minutes, which is all they're going to need. Okay. Now using this I have just these 2 little teaspoons here, little espresso spoons. You just want to fill them up. It usually takes about a teaspoon and a half or so of filling each. And this is the only sort of long process of making these because they're so incredibly easy. And wait till you taste them. I'm telling you, they're so good. And people are going to think you've been slaving over these all day. But you're not no different. Okay, I've taken one out because I only had enough for 23, which normally you can get about 23 to 25, depending. But these are going to go in the oven, 350, for about 8 to 10 minutes. You just want to get them really nice and crusty, just to toast them up a little bit because everything's already cooked. And while that's happening, we're going to make the syrup. Now I have a small little pot with about a 1/4 cup of water in there. And I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of sugar. This is what's going to make it really nice and sticky like a traditional baklava. Over medium heat. And about 2 tablespoons of honey. I'm just going to eyeball this. I say that's 1. And that's another. And a drop of vanilla. About a 1/4 teaspoon. And this is what's going to give it that sticky, sort of sweet glaze that all baklavas have on them. Now you're going to leave this in medium heat so it comes to a boil. Lower it to medium-low and let it bubble down for about 5 to 7 minutes. You want it nice and thick and golden, like a syrupy consistency, because that's what's going to make it super luscious and super sticky on your little baklavas. The baklavas have been in the oven for just 10 minutes, and as you can see, they're nicely and golden brown at the edges. Now my syrup, I've let it reduce a little, so it's nice and thick now. And I've let it cool for about 2 to 3 minutes. And now what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to, hear that? That's good. That's what you want. A teaspoon or so in each one. Then we're going to come back. These are going to be so good. The only thing is you need to let these cool on your counter for about 30 minutes, and then you have to put them in your refrigerator for about 2 hours minimum. Otherwise, everything will kind of fall apart. What's going to happen is when they're in the fridge and they're cooling, the honey in the syrup is going to kind of harden up a little. It's going to make everything sticky. It's going to make everything adhere to each other, which ultimately is exactly what we want. So just a little on each one. Like I said, we're going to come back with a little bit more. I'm just going to go back to the first one and put a drop more in each one. Now, if you're wondering why I did it this way, when I went for the first coat and then the next, is because you want time for the first batch of syrup to kind of soak up, so that the second time you put another teaspoon on top, it's all nice and even. Otherwise, it's going to bubble out the top and nothing's going to really seep through. So like I said, countertop for 30 minutes, in your fridge for a minimum of 2 hours. Now, I've taken these out of my fridge. They've been in the refrigerator about 2 hours. And to be honest with you, I've never let them go longer than that because I'm just so excited to eat them that I just want to get into them right away. All right, let's get them out. I'm just using one of these little teaspoons to help me along. Here we go. Just taking a few out just to show you. Oh, they're perfect. Listen to the crunch, because I have to try one. I can't take it any longer. See the honey? That glaze has really set in. So incredible. Full of flavor. So crispy. So sticky. So sweet. Try this. I promise you won't regret it. You'll forever be grateful for this recipe, and you'll never worry about making baklavas again because they're this simple and this delicious. To get this recipe, visit my website, www.learninthekitchen.com, and see you next time. Bye-bye.